It's so nimble, it's so responsive with amazing turbocharged power to blast you down the straights and plenty of all-wheel drive grip. For just around 40,000 bucks, I can't think of a better performance bargain than the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution.
I can. Forget about turbochargers and all-wheel drive. This is V8 horsepower straight to the rear wheels. And toss out those notions of muscle cars only being fast in a straight line, because this Ford Mustang Boss 302 corners like a boss.
A Mustang, Dave? Really? A solid rear axle, turn up the white snake Mustang? Aren't you a few hairs short of a mullet?
Sorry. Make jokes, Colin, make jokes. But I bet you my Mustang here is going to show that Mitsubishi who's the boss.
I'll admit to playing the devil's advocate here. After all, I've got 50% less horsepower to deal with. Still, let's get into the breakdown. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution MR is powered by a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It makes 291 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque. Power is transmitted through a 6-speed dual-clutch transmission and makes it to the ground through Mitsubishi's impressive Super All-Wheel Control all-wheel drive system, with differentials both in the middle and in the rear, meaning it can distribute power front to rear and left to right in the rear. Along with that dual clutch transmission, MR models get a list of upgrades. For starters, there are those beautiful 18-inch BBS wheels. Other upgrades include iBox springs and Bilstein dampers, and they even get upgraded lighter Brembo brakes that shed as much as 3 pounds per corner. The Evo tips the scales at 3,571 pounds and retails for $38,690.
Making a lot more horsepower is the Ford Mustang Boss 302. Its 5-liter V8 makes 444 horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque. Unique to the Boss 302 are adjustable dampers, stiffer springs, and a lowered ride height. It also has Brembos all around with upgraded brake pads, a 373 rear end, and a unique side exit exhaust. Its curb weight is 3,632 pounds, and out the door it costs $42,995.
It's cold out today, so this turbocharged engine is making awesome amounts of power, but still, when compared to the Boss 302, the Mustang just feels like a rocket ship down the front straights.
The first thing you really notice in the Boss 302, of course, is horsepower and plenty of it. This bad boy makes about 444 ponies, and it makes very good use of it. It's got a lot more grip coming out of the corners than I expected it to.
While normally I would prefer to be driving a regular old manual transmission, the dual clutch setup in the Evo is very impressive. And especially in this Comparo, it's probably a little bit faster too, and that'll really help make it a bit more competitive against the Mustang. The Evo is several years old, however, and it's already starting to show in that transmission. Once, I would have said that it read your mind exactly, but after having driven a pretty new and modern system, something like what you can get in a Porsche 911 nowadays, this feels a little bit crude and a bit delayed too.
The transmission in the Boss 302 is pretty typical of a high horsepower V8 car in that it's pretty heavy to shift. You've got to be patient with it. You can't really rush it into gear. It just feels like a driver's car in here. It's got these nice Recaro seats, give you a lot of lateral support. Steering wheel, pedals, everything's just positioned right. I mean, it's been engineered for this kind of driving, and this car's really surprised me by how capable it is around the racetrack.
The brakes on the Evo are absolutely amazing, and I have my suspicions that when we told Mitsubishi we were doing this comparison, those may not be the stock pads on there. There's been zero brake fade on this track, which is notorious for eating up brake pads.
The brakes do have a little bit of fade after a few laps around here. This track is very hard on brakes, so that's not really a knock so much as a testament to how good the Evo's brakes are.
The Evo's all-wheel drive system really is amazing and just makes this car a superb tool for just dancing around a racetrack. It definitely understeers going into a corner, but you never have to worry about it because the second you get on the power, it just rockets you out the other side with tons of grip. And still, you can just sort of rotate this car with a little bit of brake in a corner, and it's amazing how it just slides around. I've been drifting around corners on this track that I have never drifted around before.
The Boss 302 also comes with adjustable dampers, which is a pretty cool feature for guys who like to tune the handling of their car a little bit. We actually haven't made any adjustments to the dampers because the car's just been so well balanced in the corners. But it's nice to know that that feature is available. And overall, I think the ride quality is very good. The suspension's actually surprisingly compliant. I mean, it puts the power down really well. It's definitely stiff enough to limit body roll, but I expected the rear axle to really be jumping around a lot. But that's not the case in this car. It's really very planted and it's well engineered, let's put it that way. It puts the power down very efficiently for this type of suspension design.
Now, because of its all-wheel drive system, the Evo isn't a lightweight compact car like you might expect and only weighs about 100 pounds less than the Mustang. The Mustang, however, still feels a lot bigger. The cars are very different though. The Mustang, you feel like there's a lot of car behind you and a lot of car in front of you. Whereas the Evo, you sit up high and you just feel like there's a lot of the car in the Evo that's underneath you. So Dave, give us the lap times. Is my Evo really as fast as I think?
Well, sorry to break it to you, Colin, but the Boss 302 actually lived up to its name. It did a fastest lap of a 1 minute 21.4 seconds versus the Evo with a 1:23 flat.
Maybe this is a convenient time to say so, but I never thought the Evo was going to win this comparo. Still, I'm really impressed at what a great job it did at keeping up with the Boss.
It really did do a great job, and part of that was just how well balanced the car is in the corners. It rotates surprisingly well, and it just slingshots out of the corners with that all-wheel drive system. The Mustang, on the other hand, was very surprising too in just how easy it was to drive at the limit.
Even when it comes to the seating position in these cars, they're very different. The Evo, I do feel like you're sitting up high and you're just not that connected. It really sort of betrays its economy car roots, even though it is a ton of fun. The Boss, on the other hand, you sit really low in it and everything is in just the right place. And it's stupid fast. For more on this track shootout and others like it, visit autoguide.com.